This is the MLW Radio Network. This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what is on your mind, sir?
The knowledge is so useless you can't even pronounce it.
Stumbled my way right through that, man. Good morning,
hey,
sir.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Doing good. Well, a little inside baseball. Today is Saturday, Gimmick Fernum, the 29th.
Yeah.
Rumble Saturday, and it's snowing out, and I am not going to do a goddamn thing but do this podcast today.
That is an excellent thing to do. If you are joining us on the Patreon feed, which you can sign up right now at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, and you can watch us record this episode. We are both still in our pajamas today. It is a snow day here in the greater Philadelphia area, and I have no interest either in doing anything but relaxing today. So that's why we look this way.
Yeah, I'm still in my pajamas. I got my fucking bathrobe. I'm my Thurston Howell III fucking bathrobe on.
Looks comfortable as hell, man.
Yeah, my Ugg slippers. Mrs. Meanie makes fun of me. Blue Meanie, hey everybody, Blue Meanie wears Uggs. But I'll wear the shoes. I wear the slippers. The slippers are comfortable as fucking hell. But yeah, it's just like we talk off air, and like we've both had like hectic weeks.
Yeah.
And today's like one of the first days I don't have to do anything, so I'm not going to do anything, and just enjoy the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I forget whether we said something off the air because but when we go live on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie with the Pod Squad, we have a conversation there, but I forget if I say on the air. So today I'm just going to sit around and watch the local news and watch people sled and do goofy shit and hopefully not get hurt too bad. So as I watch from the comfort of Casa DeMeanie.
My kids are outside with my wife right now, sledding with the neighborhood children, and I'm sure I'm going to go out there and do some Johnny Knoxville moves later. But speaking of Johnny Knoxville, Meanie, it is Royal Rumble Saturday as well. You'll be hearing this on Monday, but the Pod Squad's joining us today for the Royal Rumble. Pod Squad member Lucha Lechoso is saying that you are no-selling right now because you are going to have an entry in the Rumble later, which is why you are behind a green screen, he says.
Yeah, this is just a big work. We pre-recorded this in real time.
Yep.
And
it's a whole thing. Yeah, we have a whole time warp thing that we do. It's really quite impressive.
Yeah, I'm in St. Louis downing some good barbecue right now.
I'm impressed you got your Blue Meanie background all the way to St. Louis safely and in the exact same order that's in Casa DeMeanie. It's incredible, man.
Well, we got that Skype technology where you could just have your own background.
That's right.
At Mind of the Meanie. But the Mind of the Meanie technology.
I am impressed, and I will also tell you that I am now declaring myself an entry into the Rumble. No, I'm just kidding. We are here in the greater Philadelphia area, snowed in by this, getting ready for the Royal Rumble later tonight. Do you have any predictions for tonight's Royal Rumble event for the men's and women's event?
I predict that the WWE will do the same things they do every year, and people still complain that they did them as if they've never done them before.
Yeah.
People are mad Johnny Knoxville's on the Rumble. Okay. So let's not pretend they didn't have, Drew Carey in previous Rumble or, oh my God, it's the latest outrage, But predictions for tonight? Man, I would love to see fucking again, I keep bringing his name up. I'd love to see Drew win it again and get another shot, man. Because I think Drew. I'm stuck on the fact that Drew McIntyre didn't have a proper title run in front of an audience, and the fact that if he can win another Rumble and get another shot at the world title, that would be great. I'm really looking for. But dude, I am beyond hyped to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock, because when he first came out, a lot of my friends and coworkers in the wrestling world said he's like a future Brock in a way, both coming from amateur background, legit tough. And then you see they had similar career paths with going into MMA. And the more interviews I see with Bobby Lashley, the more I really grow to like the guy. Not that I ever hated him, but I knew the on-screen Bobby Lashley character. I knew the wrestler, all that stuff. But then you get to see the guy on Stone Cold's podcast. And then this last week, he's on the Pat McAfee show. And I can't help but love the guy and want to root for him, Mm-hmm. And, talk about two guys who look like they were carved out of the side of a fucking mountain. Between Bobby and Brock, they look like two gladiators that, would have, fought in Roman times, But, that's going to be a hell of a main event. I predict, Brock will do business and give the belt back to Lashley. I think Lashley will be champion again when the smoke is settled, as they say. I'm trying to think of all the cliches I could say.
Well, I used one earlier when talking about a friend of the show, Rob Van Dam. So you'll have to go back and listen to that one later in the archive, if you will. But like I said, I've said before, I tend not to use lingo, A, because I'm not in the industry, and B, because I know I'm going to fuck it up. So go ahead. You go ahead and use any cliches you want, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be a barn burner.
Slobber knocker.
Yeah, slobber knocker. The immovable object, meaning the irresistible force. And as the late, great Gorilla Monsoon would say.
Yeah, dude.
It blows my mind that Gorilla Monsoon grew up like 15 minutes from here in Philly. He like right over the bridge.
No shit. I had
no
idea.
You go over to Wall Bridge here in South Philly, and it's like exit 1A.
Wow.
Like yeah. Collingswood.
Where was it?
Collingswood. He lived.
Collingswood, New Jersey. Yeah. No way. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, he drove a Cadillac that had the license plate that said kayfabe.
No shit.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
The local shots, you see him pull up and you just see the car that said kayfabe and it'd be fucking, that's great.
Sam Krebs, the executive voice of Mind of the Meanie, actually found an old tape at, I guess, a local VHS or one of his local stores out there was a VHS tape from 1986, and it's hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And I was like, dude, you just stumbled upon gold. I'll send in the Patreon group. I'll post some of the screenshots that he sent me and some of the photos that he sent over from the video. But he was like, who are these people? And I think the main event was, I'll have to go back into the text, but I think he said it was Blackjack. Is it Blackjack Lanza or Blackjack Wyndham? Barry Wyndham?
Blackjack Mulligan.
That's it.
Technically, it was Blackjack Wyndham because that's his real name. Blackjack Mulligan, father of Barry Wyndham.
Yep.
And then, grandfather of Wyndham Rotunda, who has been doing some amazing stuff on YouTube. I don't know if you've been watching that.
Yes. So to go back to the original thing, the first match on the video, and then we'll go to Mr. Rotunda because I definitely want to talk about that.
I also have another point too, but go ahead.
The first match on the video that he was watching, so it's from Primetime Wrestling from 1986. The first match is Jimmy Jack Funk and Blackjack Mulligan at the Boston Garden. And he said Jimmy Jack Funk has a noose around his neck. Next was Iron Mike Sharp and SD Special Delivery Jones. And that was where he left off as he was watching it. So I was like, dude, you just stumbled across a really cool piece of wrestling history. So
Jimmy Jack Funk and I don't care. Jimmy Jack Funk and I don't care. Sounds like Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care.
that's
Dude,
why
I
go ahead.
What's that?
I was gonna say that's
No,
why
I was.
we
go
did
ahead.
it again.
Twinsies. I was watching. A lot of people don't know Gorilla Monsoon was partial owner of the Puerto Rico territory, and WWE ran the show down there, and they had the show on the old version of the network, and it's from the baseball stadium of Puerto Rico, and Gorilla Monsoon was doing the play-by-play. It just started raining, and like it was like the most bizarre show to watch because everybody had to wrestle in the rain, but they're afraid to like run the ropes because the ring would get slippery.
Yeah,
and wrestling boots, they got that smooth sole, so it's like it became like the Ice Capades. You know, people are just like, ugh. But like Gorilla Monsoon is doing play-by-play underneath a tarp. It's like the most bizarre thing. If you could ever find the footage, you know, from that show, it's like WWF Puerto Rico in 1986, 87. It just starts downpouring, and like the Killer Bees are like, you know, trying not to, you know, fall down. Which seems to be the theme today, you know, people falling down. But
should be the name of the show, right? Pajamas and people falling down.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. What you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say. I was going to say something about. Oh, right, with Sam. The reason I make him watch old wrestler, or watch him like kind of bad matches, is because he's not a wrestling fan. So it's always fun to get him like just a totally unvarnished opinion because he has no idea who most of these people are. So now he's like starting to get into it, and he's like, "Oh, I found these cool videos." You know, so it's just funny to tie that back. But man, the Wyndham stuff is absolutely unbelievable. And I reached out to some folks that I know, and I was like, hey, is this legit? Because sometimes you see stuff online and you're like, well, is it actually him? Is it him doing this? Because you see the Fiend in there as well, which from what I understand is still WWE intellectual property. I think they still own the trademark to that character. So
well, he might have bought the mask and owns the right to the mask, but the actual name, The Fiend, might be a totally different ballpark. Because I think he went to Tom Savini to have all that stuff made. I think he might have paid for it out of his own pocket just so he owns the right. I 1,000% don't know for sure whether that's the case, but if you put the money out and buy the gear is yours, you know. Well, I remember when they first tried to, you know, back in the 90s, they made Tracy Smothers, Freddie Joe Floyd, and they gave him the gear. And then when he left WWE, they sent him a letter saying, "Can you send that gear back?"
Wow.
But in this case, I'm pretty sure Bray, aka Wyndham, paid for the Fiend mask out of his own pocket. So he's probably got the receipts to go, hey, no, motherfucker, I paid for this thing. I'm showing this thing.
Right.
He probably just can't say the words fiend.
Yeah,
you know
and copyright law is a weird thing too, because I know you can copyright a name and an idea, right? So like Bray Wyatt obviously is their IP, which is the whole conversation about Walter and Gunther, part of that narrative. It's like Vince does that. He changes people's names. It's the reason why Jon Moxley wasn't Jon Moxley in WWE. He was Dean Ambrose because they want to IP that, right? But
or Taz with two Z's.
Right. And so it's the whole thing about, and again, which is a wild story because I had no idea that Vince McMahon had an entire agreement with Marvel over using the name Hulk when Hulk Hogan came into the company, which is...
But if you watch those old WWF tapes, the one that your friend just bought, if Hulk Hogan's on that tape, at the end it says something about Marvel Comics.
No shit.
Like in the credits, if you watch those, either a pay-per-view or old Coliseum home video, there's always a little fine print thing that they show. Like when Gangrel, on those WWF home videos, Gangrel is property of something White Wolf Entertainment or something like that. It's on the video game too, you know, because I guess Gangrel came from another. Gangrel, the name came from another universe.
Interesting.
So they had to give credit and all that stuff. So
that is crazy. I had no idea. But I know that shout out to friend of Foundation Radio and Mind of the Meanie, Jason Baker, who was instrumental in designing a lot of that stuff with Wyndham and Tom Savini.
Nice.
I got a chance to tour that studio, the Calisum studio in Pittsburgh, when James and I were out there, and it was unbelievable. All the stuff that they have all over the place is really wild. But yeah, I guess it's probably, but that's the thing. It's a weird dynamic because that character, right? Like if you see it, you know what it is. Is that still their prop? Is the image and likeness still belong to WWE, or does it belong to Wyndham? How does that work? Because they're still producing action figures. They're still using the likeness of the character on T-shirts and all kinds of other shit. So it's like, and I mean, that's probably a good question for you because as the Blue Meanie, right? You were on merchandise, you were on posters and flyers, and you're still on the WWE website as part of the alumni section.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, how does the back end of all that stuff work for you? Like, when you sign your contract, is that something that you have to say, like, yeah, you can use my likeness? Or, like, for example, if they offered you a Legends deal, right? How does that work with producing action figures or having you in the video games, all that back end stuff that nobody really thinks about?
Well, that came down to, like, when Figures Toy Company was going to do an action figure with me. They're a little skittish because they're like, who owns, does WWE own the Blue Meanie character? And when you just brought up a great point with the contract, in my WWF contract, which I still have somewhere, it says the Blue Meanie is the intellectual property of Brian Heffron.
Cool.
So I faxed that over to Figures Toy Company, and they were like, "Oh, we're good to go."
Cool.
You have a legal binding document that says it's yours. So I sent that over. But when it comes to the Fiend and WWE, I would have to say there's got to be a licensing deal where they're allowed to show this. If and again, 1,000%, I don't know what their fucking deal is, but I'm going to assume that Bray bought the mask, owns the rights to the mask, all that stuff. They maybe own the right to name. Actually, we could probably do a search for it, the Fiend, to see who owns it. But whatchamacallit, there's got to be a licensing agreement where he agrees that they could show the footage of the mask in perpetuity and still cut him a royalty if that's still a thing anymore,
right?
With the network, but and maybe he's got permission to take it forward since he owns it and invested it and paid for it and stuff like that. So
I'm still not completely convinced that Wyndham is done with WWE. And I don't know. I still think he's going to show back up at some point. It may not be anytime soon, but I don't think that guy is done with them by a long shot. But
I think he's doing something very smart where, and a lot of wrestlers are doing this, and it's very smart. Like, Steve Macklin in Impact, he got released from WWE, and he just wanted to start paying for these videos. He started producing these videos of him doing things, and that drove up the interest in him to where Impact was like, look at this guy just grabbing the bull by the horns, so to speak, and creating his own content. And they used the thing he paid for on their TV. They just had to change the music because he was using Frank Sinatra's "That's Life." But Wyndham right now, I'm sure he's set. So he's spending the money producing this small. It looks like a movie.
Yeah.
He probably went and had a movie. He probably wrote the script out and stuff like that, and he's going to produce all this stuff and build up so much interest. And I'm assuming he's still a free agent, that he's going to put this out and draw up some interest to the fact that where people are just going to fight for, his services, whether it's WWE saying, please come back, or, A&E, AEW. Today on Biography. AEW, wants them or Impact or whatever. But then again, I'm still convinced that he might have left WWE on his own because he just needed time away. So he may very well still have an open-end agreement with WWE. Hey, go away. As they say, go away for a little bit, recharge your mental batteries, and then come back when you're ready to rock and roll,
Yeah. Or as the phrase I've also heard, learn some new holds. So I've heard that at some point. Yeah, go down, learn some new holds, come back.
Or as Jim Ross said to me when they released me after WrestleMania, go away, put on a fresh new coat of paint, and come on back. Which they never really, they released me, but they still had me on shows, which is odd.
Yeah.
Usually they give you a release. They stop giving you plane tickets and a booking sheet. I was still showing up.
Hey,
I was like,
ride this wave as long as I can, dude. Yeah, let's do it.
I am not allergic to making money.
Hell no, man.
It's weird. I showed up to a show in Seattle and the fan goes, "What are you still doing here?" I was like, "They keep booking me. I don't know."
I'm just gonna do I'm doing what I'm told, guys. I'm just here. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like though is, and I guess we can tie it back into the Rumble, tonight.
Sure.
As you're listening to the show, obviously, Inside Baseball, the Rumble will have already happened, but I do.
And Monday, people could tell us how wrong we were.
That's
even
right.
Though,
Go ahead and tweet us at Mind of the Meanie and let us know how terrible our predictions are. Or hey, you guys are clairvoyant.
yeah.
I love the fact that they referenced Jon Moxley as Mox on SmackDown.
Did they?
I don't
missed
know. That was not yesterday's show, but the week before during the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns buildup. Seth Rollins said me and Mox, and I just thought that was interesting because it's like that's out of the ordinary to hear them reference him as another character name. That like maybe that was just something that he did. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see if that's something that's going to end up paying off in some way, like this, I don't know. Like, why would they, that doesn't seem to go against like from what the prevailing narrative is. That seems to go against the grain, so to speak, with what Vince has done over, years of being in the business. But do you think there's going to be any surprises tonight from AEW? And how do you feel about them mentioning Mox by name on air?
To me, I think Seth Rollins has enough equity in that company where he could freelance a little bit.
Yeah.
And he probably just, I could see Seth Rollins, and again, I'm not speaking for him, but he could have easily said, I'm going to reference the Shield, and everybody in the world knows that he's not Dean Ambrose anymore. So I'll just slide in a small little Mox. It was subtle. It was under the radar, and not enough for Vince to go, "Oh, what did he say?" Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Because I could have sworn down the somewhere before Sami Zayn actually dropped the letters AEW on their TV, like I could go to AEW or something like that. So. I'm sure, some people have more stroke to say certain things. I wouldn't be surprised, man. That would be awesome. I think, it could draw, WWE, and I said this before, WWE is all about creating buzz. It's about buzz. What are people saying? Even if it's negative, it's a positive. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, you can go on Twitter and shit on the product all you want, but all you're doing is giving free advertisement. The thing you might hate, somebody else might like. So you saying, "Oh, this is horrible." People are like, "Let me go see what this horrible thing is," and they go, "Oh, actually, I like that. Let me stick around and watch it." So, I know I'm going off a side road here.
Hey, man,
but to create buzz. Hey, you want to have an AEW guy come out in the Rumble? Somebody who may have already worked here, like a Moxley. Why not? Why not have a moment? Kenny Omega. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, anything's possible, right? Because they don't have the reciprocity. Like, I don't. Again, I have no idea. I'm probably talking out of my ass, and if I am, as some of you have done on YouTube, please feel free to tell me. But I don't know what AEW's deals are with reciprocity. I know that they have a lot more flexibility going to other companies to work, such as John Moxley at GCW and some other folks who've gone to Japan. Do they have a clause in there about going to WWE? Obviously they probably don't, because Mickie James is in the Rumble tonight as the Impact's knockout champion. So I don't know, man. I would probably pop harder for Mox showing up than I would for Kenny Omega tonight.
I would say, it's all up to Tony Khan, really. Tony's smart. Here's the thing. No, Tony's a fan, but he's a businessman. You can say, he can have Meltzer say that, how many times AEW beats him in the demo.
In the key demo.
But,
sorry.
Yeah, but in the heart of hearts, he's a fan, and Tony Khan is smart enough to know, as a fan, if he saw another wrestler from another promotion show up on WWE TV, that AEW shows up to WWE, that's going to fucking not only create buzz for WWE, it's going to create buzz for AEW. I mean, look all the times they almost had shoot crossover between WCW and WWE when DX showed up. DX showed up at fucking Nitro.
Yeah.
And Bischoff says, I regret not keeping the door open for them to just walk in on our TV. Imagine how great TV that would have been if they allowed DX to just walk in to their building and they would have just filmed them in their building. And now we have that in real life now, where, if AEW and WWE have this secret shoot agreement, you have a guy that used to work there, that he can come in and it can look like a shoot or whatever. And then we'll just go back to our own merry way and, create buzz for both our products. And there's no losers in this situation, especially in a Rumble where nobody's getting pinned.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
The safest loss is, getting eliminated, by throwing over the top rope, because your shoulders aren't being pinned to the mat, That's why they always do count outs and DQs as ways to protect guys from, losing in the wrestling business, Well, that's why you always watch an old WWF tournament, and like the first round, there's always like a double count out, so somebody could get a bye.
Yeah. So you're not making them look bad, right? Yeah. Or putting or making them lose their equity on screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally see Mox showing up tonight, 2021, going all the way. Wouldn't that be fucking something? Obviously, again, this is just me pipe dreaming and being a fan, but like, fuck, could you imagine?
I'm a fan too, so fuck it, I'd love to see it.
If some shit happened and they fucking were like, yep, Mox just won the Royal Rumble. He's not even a signed guy. He's going to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the title, right? Holy shit, dude.
I could honestly see if WWE be willing to do that with the open door thing. I could totally see Tony Khan saying, fuck it.
Let's do it.
Let's have... by the time he gets to fucking Mania, I'll crown him the AEW champion. You can have AEW champion versus WWE champion. Crazy. And then make it like some kind of crazy three-way where the guy who's not champion in the match gets pinned so that both champions stay strong.
I was just going to say, or throw Seth Rollins in there as a three-way dance, right? Have the Shield fight each other, Universal champ, AEW champion, Seth Rollins. Have Seth Rollins pin Mox. Yeah. And that's how you get out of there. So neither of the champions are.
Or no, you would have Roman pin
pin
Seth.
That's right.
Because Roman would win, he would pin a WWE guy, and the AEW guy never got his shoulders pinned, so he stays strong. He technically didn't win the match, but he didn't lose the match either.
Right. He's not getting his shoulders pinned. Right. The same thing they did with the Fiend at Payback with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns pinned Braun Strowman for the title. He didn't pin the Fiend.
Right.
And I felt like that was purposeful. Right. But some of the folks in the pod squad I'm noticing there's a lot of chatter over here about Cody Rhodes. The rumor mill is abuzz with Cody Rhodes showing up because he's not under contract at AEW right now. So
I wonder who leaked that. I wonder who leaked that to the press. It certainly couldn't have been Cody Rhodes.
Not at all. Why would he do something like that, Blue Meanie?
Yeah, to get people talking about the possibility of him possibly showing up, which helps WWE, but also helps Cody Rhodes, the mystique of Cody Rhodes, because he has a lot of mystique about him now. Is he going to be a heel? Is he going to be a good guy? Is he going crazy? We don't know. With Cody, I just know he had a hell of a match with Sammy Guevara.
Oh man, that fucking RKO or the Diamond Cutter, or whatever you want to call it, that move was sharp coming off those ladders. That was some impressive work.
I'm amazed that Matt Hardy didn't do that like back in the day, like cut her off the ladder like that, or twist of faith, off a ladder like that. But whatever Sammy Guevara does, it just looks effortless. Mm-hmm. You would think, it was CGI and he had cables, lifting him and safely. It reminds me. One time, Tracy Smothers and a bunch of boys were in a diner, and so and the lady goes, "Oh, that wrestling, that's fake, right?" He goes, "Yeah, ma'am, it's all scripted. We jump off the top rope, we got wires, and we got a bunch of pillows on the mat, and by the time he kept saying like how ridiculously fake it was, she was like, "Nuh-uh, it ain't fake." He like reverse psychology talked her into thinking it was real. But whatever Sammy does, it's fucking effortless.
Yeah.
And how old is he?
Sammy Guevara? I think he's in his early 20s, isn't he?
And he hasn't filled out yet, man. He's still a young dude. He's
28.
28. He looks younger than that.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, he's still got a ways to go. And that's not a bad thing. No. That's a good thing.
Not at all, yeah.
That TNT title looks like it was made specifically for him.
Yeah.
It looks great on him. It's like Johnny Bravo. The suit fits, from the Brady Bunch. Deep reference. Sorry. Hold on one second. I think I might have a new one to record. Hold on.
Oh man, an exclusive. Oh my god, dude! I'm leaving all this in too. I'm not cutting a fucking thing, man. All of it's staying right in.
I cut something. Fuck, man.
Speaking of cutting something, Meanie, roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here for you with the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion. This Valentine's Day, it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code MEANIE20 for 20% off plus free shipping. It's incredibly important to have nice-looking balls this Valentine's Day. I know my wife, Courtney, appreciates the smoothness of Little John and the East Side Boys as we're getting ready to go and complete our taxes, because don't forget, friends, it's tax season as well. The holidays went by so quickly. Did you remember to take care of your package with the best tools for the job? The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is just the thing every guy needs in their life to make each and every day just a little bit more special. The number one product in this package is the Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. And get this, the trimmer's advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate balls. So while Meanie's cutting something in his shorts there, one thing he's not cutting is his balls. It even has the 4000K LED spotlight so you can shave anywhere your heart desires. And did I mention that it's waterproof? Meanie's probably going to need a shower after that little noise he just did there. How's your Performance Package 4.0 working for you, Meanie?
Dude, speaking of effortless, all the products from Manscaped are effortless. They give you the stuff that helps protect you between the skin safe technology. I use the lawnmower. I mean the nose and ear trimmer. Nose and ear hair trimmer. Sorry, I gassed myself. But they also had this club you could join where every 3 months they resend you fresh blades. They could send you fresh product. They just sent me a replacement head for my nose trimmer. So like they're on the ball, no pun intended, when it comes to their technology of keeping you looking sharp, feeling sharp, smelling sharp. I got the body wash and shampoo and conditioner in my shower that I use every day.
I'll tell you what I'd like to propose, making February 13th a national holiday as National Shave Your Balls Day. And as Vanessa said in the group, don't be stupid. Take care of your Cupid this year. This package also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer to whack all of the worst weeds. They even threw in 2 free gifts, their Shed travel bag and the anti-chafing boxer briefs to keep Little John and the East Side Boys stored comfortably. Don't forget, they complete the package with the liquid formulations like the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Start your day off with the deodorant for your boys, and then stay cool all day long with the toner to keep you feeling your best all day and night. And don't forget to smell good, not only around your balls, but all over, made with their signature scent. The Manscaped Refined Cologne will complement your collection with smell perfection. Go to manscaped.com right now and use the exclusive offer code that we have here, Meanie20, and get 20% off with free shipping. Remember, it's Meanie20 at checkout. Your balls and your lady will thank you. And Meanie, I always got to say thank you for making sure we're able to get our sponsors at Manscaped put in here each and every week. And thank you for cutting that and probably ripping through your shorts with that nuclear blast that you had. How are you feeling right now? Do you remember what regular air smells like at this point?
Yeah, I felt like I was in a capsized boat where you're trying to find that pocket of air towards the top of the ship. Where you're just like, You ever see a movie where a boat's flipped upside down in the boat that's upside down? They got to find that pocket of air. It's just like,
man, dude,
fresh oxygen. My God.
Speaking of finding oxygen, I don't know how this ties, and you had mentioned AEW. CM Punk mentioned you this past week.
Oh, yeah.
How dope was that, dude?
I was pretty cool. For people not to know, there was the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame the night before GCW's big event, the World on GCW. And shout out to them. Congratulations to them. But the night before, they had the Independent Hall of Fame, kind of like how they have the Hall of Fame before WWE's WrestleMania. So, but yeah, CM Punk was inducting the great Dave Prazak, who I've known Dave since I started the business. He might have started a little bit before me, but after I left Al Snow School and moved back to Jersey and started doing shows with Dennis Corluzzo, there was always Dave Prazak. And became friendly with Dave. He would come to ECW shows, all that good stuff. And then, Punk was inducting Prazak, who's done so much for the wrestling business. But Punk had talked about, when he was getting the business, Dave Prazak would do, custom music videos for him, the wrestlers, that he could send to promoters, which was ahead of the curve back in the day. If you could do that, put 2 VCRs together and make your own music videos. So, during the course of inducting Dave Prazak into the Hall of Fame, Punk said, Prazak said, Dave gave me Norm Connor's, information in Pittsburgh, Blue Meanie's information in Philadelphia, which, to me, it was awesome that he mentioned me, but he also mentioned Norm Connors, because Norm Connors was instrumental in my career early on as well. And it was through Norm Connors that I initially met CM Punk, because Punk worked for Norm a bunch of times, And I was still working for Norm whenever I could. And I saw CM Punk on those shows. It was Punk, Cabana. I want to say Ace Steel was on those shows too. And you could just see right then and there, like the dude had a look, he had something. And him and Cabana, were like a traveling package. So when I started wrestling, when I left WWE and ECW shut down, and there was this void in the Philly wrestling scene, start running shows for a promotion called 3PW. Our first show was main evented by CM Punk and Colt Cabana versus Joey Mercury and Christian York.
Wow.
Yeah, and I take pride in being the first guy to bring CM Punk to Philadelphia. And through booking Punk on those 3PW shows, that's when Ring of Honor kind of started noticing Punk as well, because the first people to, the first 3PW show was recorded by RF Video, which was initially the owners of Ring of Honor. It's owned by Kerry Sulkin now, but in the beginning it was RF Video, who were wise enough to use their mailing list of people who bought all these videos for ECW through RF Video. Now they had this wealth of a mailing list to start their own promotion and draw fans. But we used RF Video to record our first show, and the folks from our video stood there and watched Punk wrestle the main event of the first 3BW card, which kind of put a germ of an idea to bring him into Ring of Honor. So it was cool that, the other night when, Punk said, brought up my name, that it brought back so many, memories. And it was nice to be acknowledged,
Yeah.
And not acknowledge Meanie, as the shirt says.
Which you can actually pick up over at prowrestlingtees.com/mind of the meaning to support the show.
Yes. And it was very cool of Punk to do that. And of course my phone blew up.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there. They also inducted Tracy Smothers into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. I wish I could have done something for that. Tracy Smothers was instrumental in my career, and we were basically married for a year in ECW. So we feuded, and I've known Tracy Smothers since I first started in '94. So it would have been nice to be there in person to see him get inducted. I was offered a chance to go there and see it, but real life got in the way, and I couldn't make the trip to New York. But it was a good night for wrestling with the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, and everybody they inducted was worthy. It was a very cool experience. Hopefully they do it again. Hopefully, like the Hammer sign becomes their their WrestleMania, so to speak.
Yeah,
and they do this Hall of Fame once a year. And again, back to Punk. For everything he's done in his career. The goods, the bads, and other things. It was nice to be recognized.
Yeah,
by one of the best to, if I'm going to use a cliche, one of the best to lace them up.
That's what the show should be called. This episode should be Pajamas and Clichés. Look, man, that makes two of us on the show now that have been publicly mentioned by CM Punk in the past year. I popped, man. I got to tell you, I popped really hard when I heard that, and I was excited for you. And I'm always hyped when I hear people, as they say in other circles, give people their flowers. And I think it's long overdue for Blue Meanie to get his flowers. And I'm curious, is this the year that Meanie goes into the Hall of Fame, into the Independent Hall of Fame, or into the WWE Hall of Fame? I would love to see that happen at some point, in the near future.
I would love that as well, but it's not for me to decide,
So, Vince, if you're listening, because I know that you are, Vince McMahon is our number one listener. I don't know if we should share that much inside baseball, but we'll share. Vince is,
kayfabe pal.
We call him Vinny. He calls and he's, oh, goddamn, Great programming. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you're listening, listen. It's I think it's long overdue. Meanie deserves a spot. Meanie deserves his flowers, and you know, I think it'd be great. But I would love to go to a GCW event next year, as long as it's safe. You know, as long as we're on the other side of this pandemic. I think that would be be super dope. I would enjoy that.
Dude, it would be awesome, but it's not for me to decide, or it would mean more if they asked. It's just that would seem kind of corny to be like, "Hey, can you put me in your Hall of Fame?"
Well, listen, it's not you asking; it's me saying, "Hey, you guys put in Meanie, right? Like, let's do it, guys. Come on."
Yeah,
let's give this man his call. But hey, I'm excited. I know Josh had a lot of really great content too with Fight TV. So if you guys get a chance, go over to Real Dad's Twitter and check out his videos. He had a bunch of stuff he was doing with Matt Cardona and John Moxley, CM Punk. He had a chance to chat with. He didn't ask him about the shoe thing, which I was a little disappointed. I thought as a journalist, he would have asked him. But CM Punk, listen, if you're interested, we're still down for the charity idea, man. We would love to have you on, but. I don't know, man. I think as far as tying it back to the Rumble tonight, I would think that I believe that Bobby wins, and I think Roman retains. And I don't know who the big surprises are going to be. I feel like this is the first year that I haven't really had any kind of idea who's going to win, right? Because last year, go ahead.
No. I was going to say the pandemic throws everything into out of whack, because you could have a match and then all it takes for one person to test positive, and then the whole concept is thrown. Imagine you go to the building and one of the Bobby or Roman test positive for COVID, and then you got to rearrange the card. So it's hard to get invested into a show where you just don't know who's going to be available.
What happened already at day one? I mean, literally the night of the show. Roman Reigns tests positive for coronavirus, and they had to completely reshape the entire card, which ended up being like a happy accident in a lot of ways, because then we ended up with Lesnar and Lashley. But, at the end of the day, it's like, shit, we don't want Roman. Roman's a fucking leukemia survivor. His immune system is all fucked up. The last thing that guy needs is COVID. But,
right.
I'm excited to see what happens tonight. I'm excited to see where it goes. I have no idea I can't even begin to imagine who's going to win tonight, but definitely looking forward to being told I was wrong on this episode as it comes up. And we're talking about the Pod Squad right now. Everybody's sending in a lot of great questions and a lot of great commentary. Don't forget, guys, sign up right now and get this show early. You can watch us record this at patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. I'm just going back through our comments here. Andy Schlichter is here talking a lot about Cody. Yes, Andy, I am pretty sure Meanie gassed himself out there as well. That was a very
fucking brutal.
It was a very uncomfortable face he made as I was doing the Manscaped read. I don't know, Meanie. Do you want to go into? Do you want to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Use Ask Meanie as the hashtag on Twitter. You can tweet it at Meanie at Blue Meanie BWO. You can tweet it at the show Mind of the Meanie, and you can also tweet it at me if you'd like to at This Is Goober. Andy Schlichter asked hashtag Ask Meanie Hausen. What are your thoughts on the Dan Hausen debut on AEW this week?
Something that was long overdue. Hausen. It's very cool. And something you could kind of see coming from a mile away. The way he was, he's been interacting with the Ass Boys, Billy Ass, and the Ass Boys, on social media, and the way they replied to him. Which, if he wasn't going to do anything with them, why would they reply? Bother replying. But what a perfect debut, just out of nowhere. Just comes out of you got to pull it was kind of very R-Truth-ish, where you go to pull the plunder from underneath the ring, and he pulls Danhausen from under the ring. Adam Cole does, and Danhausen curses. Danhausen curses Adam Cole, which wound up giving him his first loss in AEW. So I love the Danhausen character. He reminds me a lot of. He reminds me of like one of those guys that would like. Besides the fact that he's a great wrestler, like just a character where like he would host the Creature double feature on some TV channel. You know, I grew up in an era where you'd watch Svengoolie, you know, and he would always show like the cool, you know, monster movies and stuff like that. I could see like Dan Housen's doing something like that, but yeah. Besides the fact that you know he's a guy he's been wrestling for years, and then reinvented himself with this Dan Housen character, talking about you know reinventing yourself, you know, and stuff like that. So he, you know, Dan Housen's amazing. Dan Housen's hilarious, and you know, I think the world is his oyster. I wanted to say the world was his ostrich, but that's I'd be ripping off the Trailer Park Boys there. But I love it. I love it.
I am going back to the Twitter machine right now. Let's pull this up here. Mark in Dryden asks, a good consensus of fans, wrestlers, and reporters say that the 1992 Royal Rumble match was the best of all. What other Rumbles are comparable to it or are that memorable?
I think I said this recently where the one Drew won was probably one of the best ones. Now, you know, the Flair one to me is like the ultimate one. Because I think that was like maybe one of the first times, you know, like a title was on the line or something. You know, there was weight to it. You know, the importance of winning the belt and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely the one Drew McIntyre won to me is in recent history, in recent years, is probably an all-time favorite just for the fact that the way they built that thing looked like Brock was going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like Brock was going to come out, eliminate all 29 guys and win it himself. And but like as they told the story of, you know, who's coming out next, and then Keith Lee comes out, and then Brock's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, you know, and stuff like that. And then like Drew hits him with the kick and eliminates him. Just watch the fucking crowd.
Yeah,
you know?
dude. Yeah,
it's amazing. Man. It's amazing, like just for wrestling in general. It's amazing what I see people shit on online. But then, like I watch the show and I'm looking at the crowd and the crowd's into it.
Yeah,
you know, it's so weird. It's like there's like two different worlds. But to watch that crowd when Drew eliminates Brock.
Yeah,
and the realization that this guy who they thought was going to eliminate everybody and win it is out.
Yeah,
and now it's up for grabs. There was such a great story told there.
I would say for me, I know it's not Ask Adam, but if I could offer my analysis as well, I would say the only one comparable that I have seen to 92 is probably 2020. Honestly, I agree with that completely. I think the story that they told with McIntyre was fantastic. I'm not sure if there's any other ones that were really as meaningful for me. It's my favorite event of the year. Like, I love watching the Rumble every year. It's the pay-per-view I look forward to the most. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but even more so than WrestleMania. There's something about the match that's just fantastic. But yeah. I absolutely agree 110%. Friend of the show, Ringside Rant, asks, what are your thoughts on the overtime rule in the NFL?
Yeah, man. After that Bills-Kansas City game, I would have loved to have seen the Bills get the ball back one more time. And for those who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, because you might live in another country and don't watch American football, probably one of the best. We just had probably one of the best playoff weekends in pro football, American football. A little bit of lazy booking. There was 3 matches that ended on the same finish.
Fuckers are lazy booking this shit.
But like it was like the first weekend where every game ended on the final play. Like there was 3 last-second field goals, and then that Chiefs game in overtime ended in sudden death when Travis Kelce caught the touchdown from Mahomes. Now, like, and I'm a proponent of. I hate it, but before the rule used to be first person to score. That's it, and then all you would have to do is drive down to your opponent's 30 or 40-yard line and kick a field goal and win. So you're leaving it up to a coin toss instead of actual skill. Now, they went and abridged it to where if you kick it, if you score a touchdown, you win. If you kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance to answer, to either tie it or score a touchdown. Or if your drive stalls out and your opponent gets the ball and then they score a field goal or touchdown, they win. Okay. I think it should be like basketball. Basketball, they just play a fresh new quarter. And, whatever the score is at the end of the overtime, that's who wins.
Yep. Yep.
But then again, you probably have the NFL's Player Association going, well, that's an extra period. That's extra wear and tear on the body because it's a full contact sport.
Right.
And that's where I say, stop testing for pot. But yeah, man, I would definitely like to see in the situation where both teams get a chance to touch the ball, even if, the one team goes down and scores a touchdown, okay, the other team gets a chance to answer back, which builds more drama into the game, if they can just, it's, fourth and 4 near the goal line and the guy gets down to like the half-inch thing and the game ends on a dramatic, stop. Kind of like when the Rams stopped, I want to say Tennessee in that one playoff game or whatever. But, yeah, it would just add more drama if both teams got to touch the ball in overtime.
Noah Kinsey wants to know, friend of the show, Noah Kinsey wants to know, I feel like I've heard every ECW OG talk about the final days of ECW, but I haven't heard of your experience. When and how did you know it was in financial trouble, and how did it affect you?
It didn't really affect me because I went back, maybe the last couple months of ECW, and I was not only getting paid by ECW, I was still getting paid by WWE. So I was like double dipping there. And as far as I'm concerned, Paul owes me nothing because without Paul, nobody would know who the fuck I am. Now, it's different for like a Shane Douglas because the Shane Douglas was like this established wrestler before he even went to ECW. He helped build ECW. He was in WCW, he was in UWF, Mid-South, all these different promotions. He goes to ECW and gives ECW credibility, where on the other hand, ECW gave me an opportunity. I was just this young kid coming out of Al Snow School looking for an opportunity. They gave me a platform. They gave me a character. And, without the ECW, WWE might not have even hired me. So in that sense, Paul owes me nothing. But in those last couple months, it affected different people different ways. There are some people who still, kind of lived at home, and, were wrestling, on the weekends. And if they missed a check, they still had a support system, so to speak. But then there was people who were, depending on that money for house payments, car payments, stuff like that. In fact, then the ECW affected different people in different ways. Me, on the other hand, I still had my WWE money. The closing of ECW and WCW affected me in a way that it flooded the marketplace as far as independents go, because it became like the Wild Wild West, where, back when there was WCW, WWE, if you got released, you can go on the indies and make a fortune just because you're fresh off TV. But now you got over 30 guys fresh off TV, oversaturating the independent markets. I never really got to make that fresh off TV indie money, so to speak. I'm showing up to a show, I'm driving to an indie in my car and making my money, and some money marks flying in, some WCW guys and giving them a limo, and they're pulling up to the ice rink in a limo, and I'm just like, really? You know, and they weren't even the promoters. They were just paying to fly these guys in to work shows for them and stuff like that. So, like I said, the end of ECW affected different people in different ways. It didn't really affect me. I'm forever grateful for ECW, and some people might say foolishly so. But to me, ECW was, there's two people. There's people who wish they worked in ECW, and there's people who are fucking pissed that they didn't work in ECW. You know, if I could paraphrase what Bubba Ray Dudley said about ECW, there's people who wish they worked in ECW, and there's people who are mad they didn't work in ECW. Because people would kill to work in an atmosphere like that, where it felt like you're in the movie Slapshot. It felt like you're in the movie Major League, with a little bit of a Rocky Horror Picture Show thrown in. You know, we were the kids who laughed a little bit too loud in class. You know.
Andrew Bailey from the Pod Squad wants to know, hey, Meanie, what time is your flight tonight to St. Louis?
I'm on the plane right now, actually.
That's all the questions for this week with Ask Meanie. Again, don't forget to ask Meanie.
Hold on. I know we're putting a bow on it, but every time I think of St. Louis or hear St. Louis, it reminds me of the time me and Stevie did this show in St. Louis, and it was this small independent around 96, 97, and Stevie wrestled Glenn Jacobs, who was still doing the Diesel character. And it was in a small nightclub in St. Louis somewhere, and it was kind of cool because Glenn's from that area, but like Stevie was Big Stevie Cool, you know, as the BWO. We were still wearing our BWO gear. That's how. So it's around that time. It's before Stevie went to WCW, so it had to be 97. And Stevie's doing Big Stevie Cool, which is a parody of Diesel.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Nash. And he's wrestling the guy who is doing Diesel, which was Kevin Nash's character. So it's like the tale of two parodies of Kevin Nash wrestling each other.
That's hilarious.
So, and that happened in St. Louis. And for whatever reason, every time I hear St. Louis, I think of that night.
That was probably a pretty cool match to watch, though, I'm sure.
It's definitely fun.
Don't forget to ask Meanie by using the hashtag AskMeanie and tweet at us with your questions for next week. Meanie, tell everybody where they can find you on the social media platforms and everywhere else.
Before I forget, Vanessa Bello was kind enough to remind me, Mad Cat Beard Care. Go to madcatbeardcare.com to get yourself smelling like a blue spruce. Go to madcatbeardcare.com, buy the blue spruce beard oil and balms, and get yourself a nice little beard comb, which I keep in my back pocket all day, every day, over there at madcatbeardcare.com, and the money goes to a good cause. On social media, you can find me across every platform at Blue Meanie BWO. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, which I do not know how to use quite yet. But, follow me on all the social medias. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. If you want to support the Blue Meanie directly, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie, where we just uploaded a brand new Mind of the Meanie podcast shirt, logo shirt, which... we've only been doing the show for almost 2 fucking years, and we just realized that our logo didn't say the word podcast on it. So I was like, let's put up a shirt that says podcast. So when those people who don't know what we are see the shirt, they go, oh, there's a podcast. So go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Go to mindofmeanie.com. And if you want to watch us record this live each and every week, go to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie.
And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, it's at This Is Goober. Yes, that is my handle. No, I'm not changing it. I'm keeping it forever. You can also check out my additional show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net. There's lots of great conversations and all kinds of fantastic things to find there. Blue Meanie is going to be joining me as well. I got another couple of surprises coming up as well, so continue to tune in. I appreciate you guys stopping by the Pod Squad. Don't forget patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Sign up today. Blue Meanie, thank you as always for your time, sir. I am always grateful to spend this afternoon with you. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind
Blue World Order.
of the Meanie. Peace.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie was recorded and produced by Adam Barnard and was engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional production and narration provided by Sam Krebs. Our executive producers are Josh Chernoff, Adam Barnard, and the Blue Meanie. Our opening theme is performed by the Swamp Candles. Our closing theme is performed by Chikara. The show contains original music produced by Enrichment. Get additional bonus content by becoming our patron on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mind of the Meanie. This has been a Butts Carlton media production in conjunction with the MLW Radio Network. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?
The world of MLW Radio never stops.